Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the top business stories. Record half-year results for Emirates Airline. New survey reveals MENA companies intend to increase recruitments. And we find out how Japan is looking to increase trade ties with the Middle East. The GCC markets ended in negative territory today. There were mixed results across the UAE bourses. Asian markets ended mostly higher this Monday as positive Chinese manufacturing data boosted markets. The DFM revised Sunday's performance to gain 1%, closing at 1,781 points. Dubai investments fell 1.5% as the company announced a 20% drop in profits. MR Properties gained 0.5%. Air Arabia was up 1.5%. 448 million shares were traded, valued at 363 million dirhams. The ADX fell 0.5% to close at 2,803 points. Suru Real Estate fell 2.5% as the company announced a 68% drop in third-quarter profits. Etisalat continues to fall. The telecom operator shares were down 1%. 177 million shares were traded, valued at 243 million dirhams. Emirates Airline reported a net profit of 3.4 billion dirhams for the first 6 months of its current fiscal year, a 351.2% increase compared to 752 million dirhams for the same period last year. The airline carried 15.5 million passengers, recording a strong passenger seat factor at 81.2%, the highest ever for a first 6-month reporting period. Revenue from cargo traffic rose 48% to 4.4 billion dirhams, contributing about 18% of the airline's transport revenue. The airline added 6 new wide-body aircrafts, 5 Airbus A380s and 1 Boeing 777 to its fleet within the same period, with 2 new aircraft scheduled to be delivered before the end of the financial year in March 2011. Now, as Islamic finance looks to increase its reach, what are the challenges and the future of Sharia-compliant banking? Experts from the sector met in the UAE to discuss how Islamic banking can lead asset growth. June Wrigley reports.
Islamic banks have a strong presence in the Gulf and Southeast Asian countries, but their reach is minimal beyond these regions. Senior executives from the field are now formulating ways to expand beyond these countries.
Majority of Muslims, they live in poverty. If Islamic banking and finance can contribute to poverty alleviation efforts by offering products which are development friendly, this is going to help a lot in terms of creating more demand for Islamic banking and finance. So many countries in West Africa, for example, they have been neglected by Islamic banks and financial institutions. That is a growth area. Even from conventional viewpoint, the next wave would go into Africa. And once that happens, Islamic banking and finance is going to benefit immensely.
Islamic finance originally grew from the demands of the Muslim community looking for a way to ethically participate in banking.
The way I've always explained Islamic banking is, one is it's ethical finance, which we're all familiar with, which actually a number of people of faith and of no faith are very comfortable with. And in addition to that lens of ethical finance, there's also a structured product element which needs to be also layered on top of that to understand Islamic finance. The structured product part is where in Islam there is a ban on interest, which is actually also there in some of the other Abrahamic faiths originally as well, like Christianity and Judaism. But there is a strict ban on any form of interest in Islamic finance, which is defined as riba.
Marrying products and services to ethical finance that are Sharia compliant is no easy task.
Along with any young industry comes a set of inherent challenges. We've discussed a number of them at this conference over the last 2 days, looking at the industry from a both theological and theoretical point of view, through to the marketing and distribution and penetration in the market, right down to specific products and the structuring of products.
When talking about ethics, finance, and religion all in the same sentence, the discussions are bound to be complex. But the message from this conference is clear on the need to find more ethical financial solutions, be it Islamic mortgages, Islamic credit cards, or Islamic microfinance, to enable opportunities for the growing and more sophisticated Muslim population worldwide. June Wrigley, City 7 Business.
Over half of the region's employers intend to recruit by the end of the year. The new Bait.com job index for October 2010 covering the MENA region also reveals that a quarter of the UAE respondents would definitely hire in the next 3 months, while another 25% said they would probably hire. Oman has the highest intention of hiring, while Jordan and Egypt show the lowest outlook for staff. The majority of companies questioned are looking to recruit staff for less than 5 positions. Graduates, the employed or postgraduates in business management will stand the best chance of employment. For an analysis of the markets, we're now joined by Gaurav Kashyap, the head of the DGCX Futures and Options Trading Desk at ACM Middle East. Welcome to the show, Gaurav.
Thanks for having me, Laura. Glad to be here.
Now, the US GDP figures from the past Friday showed that growth in the world's largest economy is in line with expectations at 2%. Although slightly improved over the previous quarter, we saw the US dollar weaker across the board. With a great deal of market risk this week, what can we expect?
Indeed, Laura, we have a very action-packed week lined up in front of us. Just to start with tomorrow, we have the U.S. midterm elections due out. That's followed by the FOMC rate decision, and this is all topped off by the non-farm payroll number due out on Friday. Now, although the midterm elections show that the Republicans will gain a large majority in the House of Representatives, we don't expect that to skew markets' thinkings with the FOMC result right around the corner. Now, what we've been seeing with the FOMC rate decision is a lot of speculation. Originally, the markets were queuing up for a large influx of monetary policy coming in from the Fed, but we're of the camp where we're expecting to see probably smaller asset purchases in the future along the lines of about $100 billion. So any type of smaller amount that gets released will probably be disappointment to the markets, and we should see the US dollar rally on that news.
Yes, there definitely are high expectations for the market's announcement at the FOMC meeting. Now, commodities have also been slightly ranging ahead of the November 3rd meeting as well. Tell us about that.
Well, Laura, we saw the gold appreciate close to $30, but what's more interesting has been the reaction of crude. Crude did close the week higher, but the gains were not as much as expected, and this is because we saw a suppressed amount of volume in the international crude markets. This is probably as a result of investors, stepping to the sidelines. We did have very positive Chicago manufacturing figure on Friday. As you said, the GDP was in line with expectations, yet we didn't see that impact on the crude markets. And once again, this does show that investors are on the sidelines and they're probably waiting to see how the FOMC will react and what kind of QE measures they will be implementing in the markets. Once again, if we do see smaller QE measures, this will disappoint the markets and we can expect commodities to sell off.
Wait and watch there. Thanks for your time again, Gaurav.
Thanks, Laura. We'll see you next week.
The GCC markets ended in negative territory today. Let's check in on those numbers now, starting off with the UAE general indexes. Coming up now, let's take a look at the major international currencies against the dirham, followed by the price of oil and the precious metals. On the way after the break, we talked to the head of Japan's external trade organisation in Dubai about economic ties between Japan and the UAE.